Alright, welcome back fight fans. This is MMA Savvy. We're here at Sonica Martial Arts and BJJ Machado. We're here with Tom Kalili and we're just going to ask him a few questions. He's got a serious history in the UFC. Just so you remember, on our site we're always in tune with the history of MMA. We don't just care about the newest stuff. So we're going to go all the way back to 1995. Tom here was actually a ring doctor in UFC 6 and UFC 7. And just so you know, viewers, Oleg Taktarov won in that huge battle against Tank Abbott when Tank Abbott was killing everybody. Oleg somehow pulled it off in the 17th minute. And then Marco Huas in that amazing run, that famous Paul Varelans fight. So I just want to hear about your experience there, you know, when it was a small sport. You know, what were your duties? What did you do as a ring doctor, and what was the vibe in those days?
I started off, I was training at go-kart school with Gene LaBelle and those guys. That's when Caro and Manny were just little kids. They were called the Mighty Midgets. And so I started treating some of those guys. I'm a dentist. I graduated from Boston University. I lecture at UCLA for 20 years now. So I was starting to fix up those guys at go-kart school. And then I started becoming friends with Vitor Belfort. He came in, he was about 17 years old those days. And I met him and Carlson Gracie. Carlson Gracie essentially adopted Vitor. They had a school there in Gailey, and they started training, and they were struggling. They were new, they didn't even know how to speak English. And then I started going to some of the smaller events in Hawaii. So I became a ring doctor. They were paying me like $1,000. They were flying me out to different places, and it was pretty nice. And once in one of the UFCs, a guy got hurt so bad, the plastic surgeon next to me fainted. I looked back and the dude fainted. I went to, hey, let's go. So I went inside the ring and I had to wrap the guy's head with a towel. I actually used the stapler from the secretary, put a couple of staples before the guy went out. That was one of the smaller events. So anyway, Oleg asked me to be his ring doctor, and pretty much I had to treat his opponents most of the time. He was hurting people's legs, their knees with the vicious chokes and everything.
All right, so Tom, before we move on, when you were back there in '95 in these small arenas, there was what, barely 5,000–10,000 people at most? Not even, in these smaller southern towns a lot of the time. They weren't like the big cities yet. Did you ever think that it would be the #1, I mean the fastest growing sport in the world?
I tell you, it just grew huge. In fact, we put a little event together, and we had Frank Shamrock there, we had Oleg there, and all these top guys, Tom Erickson and so forth. And right after that, they banned it. And we had to close the shop. That was called WFF, World Fighting Federation. We had to ban it, and we had no idea. We started realizing you got to follow the protocol of boxing with the 10-count system and the rounds and so forth. It's huge now. UFC is just huge. Dana White's doing an unbelievable job.
So okay, let's talk about this gold medal you got here. You were just, you know what, the senior Division III gold medalist in the World Jiu-Jitsu Championship? What do you call it?
The No-Gi World Championships. That was November 7th. So it was a 30-year dream of mine. All of a sudden, bam, the World Championships. Master Egan told me to go for it. So I trained hard for like 3 months, every day, 6 days a week.
Wow.
And then I went in there. I had a bye, and then I went in. I had a good match. Then in the semifinals, I got caught in a triangle. I was ready to tap. I hear my kids yelling and screaming. I barely brought my fingers between my neck and his leg. Got him moved, got him out of there, and got the side mount. Got some nice moves there. Real tough guy. I went against another guy, and he was stronger than me. I couldn't even move on him. 30 seconds to go. I hear my kids screaming again. I shot in on a single. He pressed down on me. Paul was my manager over there. He was coaching me. And the guy dove on me, flattened me out. I came around, got side, and time ran out. And I took it 2-1.
Wow.
And that was it.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was exciting.
That's excellent.
It was an honor to be in it.
So let's just give a final shout out to the gym, Sonica Martial Arts,
owned by
Sonica.
owned by Master Nielsen.
Yeah.
And this is Paul. He's managing BJJ Machado, and who's the main guy behind that. Obviously, is Higan Machado, and Paul's doing an unbelievable job. He's got a beautiful school together, and he's really motivating the whole school.
Cool. And one, last shout out also to New Brace. That's this guy's company. This guy's an amazing man. He's a dentist also, if you didn't know. And then also, MMA Savvy, don't forget us. These videos are going to be live very soon.
I looked on the site. They got interviews, and they're moving. This is the next place to go. After CNN, you're burned out on Yahoo. This is the place to go.
MMAsavvy.com, baby.